I am Ainsley Ross, and you are watching The Arroyo Show. You have to know what you stand for. You have to know what your mission is. And you know what? It's just like I say, when you go into the industry, you don't let it define you. You define the industry.
We'll just start with that right there. How have you been doing? Welcome to the show. It's great to meet you.
Much for having me on, and it's a pleasure to meet you as well. And hello, everyone out there who is watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'm happy to be speaking with you. You know, I feel like we are all just making the best out of the situation that life has thrown us right now, and we can make a difference even if it is just from home, from supporting, from loving, from encouraging. So I feel like, you know, that's what I've been up to, and I hope maybe y'all have been doing the same.
You know what? You can just take over the whole show. We're gonna change it. We'll call it the Ross Show from now on. You just got this. This is your new program. Well, it's so good to chat with you here a little bit. And it's warm up in Ohio, so I know. Are you back in East Texas right now at this point?
I actually am. I am back in Texas, and it is so hot out here. It is in the upper 90s, if not close to 100 right now. So I've got my short sleeves. I'm rocking my short sleeves right now.
Wow. So I know it's hot down there. It's good to keep cool. Congratulations on everything that's been going on for you. It's really great to see how everything's been going. Let's start from when you were young. So you started acting around the age of 9, I believe, correct? Back in community theater?
Yeah, I did. Look at you doing your research. Okay. Yeah. So I started doing it when I was 9, and I got into community theater, and I really, really loved it. And it was that newfound love that I developed for the arts and just an outlet of self-expression, I guess you would say.
Yeah, so what was it about that made you want to originally get into it? I mean, obviously, a lot of people will say this just the magic of the theater, the magic of entertainment. Did you have the same sort of thing?
It was a little bit of half and half. I mean, for me, there was this passion and this flame that I just couldn't extinguish for a love that I knew I was called to the entertainment industry. I've always been a bubbly person. I've always just talked to anyone, and I always loved storytelling. So that derived from when I was really young, and that's that magic, I guess you would say, that others have felt. And then when I actually got involved in theater, it was just... there was so much beauty to me in the fact that you can play a completely different character that is opposite of yourself and who you are normally as a person. And seeing how that reaches and impacts the audience, there's no other feeling like it. And that's what helped me. You
grew up in a pretty small town, correct? Less than 1,000 people?
Oh, yeah. Less than 800 people. Beckville, Texas.
Beckville, Texas. What was it like in Beckville? Was there much entertainment for you to get involved in? Was the community theater in Beckville, or did you have to travel out of the area to get to a theater?
No, not at all. We don't even have a red light in Beckville.
Wow.
So it is an itty bitty town. Everyone knows each other, and I would have to drive. I would have to commute about 30 minutes or so to even get to my nearest community theater. So I had to really want to do it. I had to really want to be active in my career choice and what I was passionate about.
To go from that and just then a couple of years later be in a situation where you're able to release a CD, Just Be You, what was that like for you to go from where you started to the point where you're releasing a CD?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy. And all I can say is that I've always known ever since I was younger that I was meant to step out of my comfort zone. I was meant to get out of my little box in my comfort area of my small town and challenge myself and my skill sets. So when I was about 13 or so, well, when I was 12, I got into the arts full throttle. And then when I was 13, that was when my album came out of music. And it was a milestone for me. It really was a milestone for me. And I looked back with pride. Like, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter your background. You can do anything you set your mind to. So that's where it felt great.
In addition to the music, in addition to the theater, you're also someone that's very studious. I believe you were a part of the Phi Theta Kappa, correct?
Yes, I am.
So what was it that made school so important for you? Why was it such a priority for you?
And thank you for asking me this question. Education has always been really important to me, and I'm someone who I value having a degree, and I also value having a career. And so many times in my life, I have been told by industry professionals and just professionals in general, you can't have a career and an education at the same time. They would say you just have to choose one. And for me, it was important. I was like, no, I can make that path for myself, and I can get a degree and have an education and have a full working career at the same time. And I can do that. So that was very important to me. And like I said, education has always been very important to me. And being involved with community and groups like such as Phi Theta Kappa, the Honor Society, and the Green Jackets, that's something that's very important to me. So I feel like if you are facing that question within yourself, anyone who is out there listening, you can do both. It doesn't mean it's easy by any means, but you can do both.
And thank you so much for being a good motivation for people to go out there and to do both, because as you mentioned, it is so important to be able to do that. As far as passions that you have outside of school, passions that you have outside of acting, you're a fan of classic cars, which is probably about the coolest thing you can be a fan of. Where does that come from?
Okay, so it's a long line. In my family, I come from a family that's primarily guys, males. And all my life, even the women in my life, we have been heavily affiliated with cars. My grandpa was a mechanic. He was a racer. My mom raced. It's always been in my blood, I guess you would say. My dad's always been a Mustang guy from day one in hot rods. I grew up at car shows, and I just fell in love with it. And I wanted to have that love and that knowledge of cars. So I asked for a carburetor for my 13th birthday.
Oh!
I was fixing up an old Suzuki Samurai. We were fixing up the fuel line and working on the mechanics of that. And my mom told me before I could ever get my license, I had to learn how to drive a stick shift.
Oh.
So when I was 13, I started, trying to fix this Suzuki Samurai so I could learn how to drive a stick shift. So that's where the carburetor came into play.
If you have a dream car, what would your dream car be at this point?
67 Shelby GT 500 Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. Modified, of course.
And for those of you guys who are like me that don't know much about cars, that don't know what that looks like, this is what the Google search for that car turned up to show. So we all know now what that car looks like. It's a pretty fancy car.
Yes, it is a fancy car. Obviously, it is modified. It has a lot of bells and whistles added on it, but that's my dream car right there.
So 2020 is a year where a lot of different studios have sort of shut down for a little while. What do we have, or what do you have when you're looking forward through the rest of 2020 that you would like to get into, like to accomplish as we make our way through the back end of the year?
Of course, there are so many things that I'm working on currently, and amazing things that I can't wait to share that are to come. I do have multiple films and TV series in production right now. Obviously, like you said, studios have been shut down, so it's kind of put a little bit of a delay and all set to that currently, but we're getting back those dates, and I can't wait to share that with you soon, as well as new music releases.
Oh!
I do have a brand release that I'm going to announce in 2021.
Whoa! So we got that to look forward to as we make our way into next year. As we start to wind down the rest of the interview here, we like to call this the Final Five. It is the who, what, when, where, and how for Ainsley. So let's go ahead and start off with the who. Who do you spend the most, who do you speak with, rather, the most at this point in your life?
Honestly, I would say my mom. She is my rock. She is everything I aspire to be as a woman, and just in general a good person and a loving person. She taught me what strength is. What
is the item you can't get a day without using?
Concealer. For those under eyes, that life though.
When did you first know that this is what you wanted to be doing, entertainment? 9. What was it about 9? I would have to say that's when I really found all of my art forms found me, such as the music, the theater, the music. I wrote my first chorus song on a paper plate when I was 9, and that's when I found the love of songwriting. That's when, the music theater found me and all of that, and I felt called to it, and I would have to say when I was 11 was when I pursued it. That's when I was
set on looking up information. I was set on looking up YouTube videos and delving into it. So 9 was when I knew, but I didn't. And 11 was when I pursued it.
Where would you live if you could live anywhere in the world?
Ooh. I would live in South Carolina.
Ooh. And then finally, how do you define success?
I feel like it is all in what you make of it, and you define it by being a humble, genuine, loving person. You have to be centered within yourself before you could ever make any kind of impact on the world. You have to know what you stand for. You have to know what your mission is. And you know what? It's just like I say, when you go into the industry, you don't let it define you. You define the industry. You show them what that looks like. So you show people what success looks like. And whatever your mission is, it will shine through you. Don't be a dream chaser, be a dream catcher.
Ms. Ross, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your time with us here today. It's been a privilege to chat with you.
Thank you very much for having me. And everyone, you can follow me on social media, on Instagram at Ainsley_Ross, and on Facebook and Twitter at I am Ainsley Ross. Thank you for tuning in. Check out my new song, We Are One. It's a new single, and it is about joining together with love and positivity. Everyone needs to hear that right now, and you can find that on Apple Music, Spotify, and all other social outlets.